All aboard!
The Graeme and Joe Show.
Alright, okay, now back for episode 2. Already a smash hit. So, Graeme, how have you been?
I've been good, Joe.
Yeah?
I've been good, Joe. Yeah. My back is at me, but other than that, I mean, I'm alright.
I heard you were building a trampoline recently.
Yeah.
That's not an everyday occurrence, is it?
No, it's not. It was a 12-foot trampoline for the children.
For the children, is that pretty standard? That sounds big, I have to say.
It is, man.
In trampoline
No, when I put it together, when I had it all laid out in the ground, I was like, this is a pretty big bloody trampoline.
Like circus kind of scale sort of stuff?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's been a long time since I was at the circus, so I'm not entirely sure.
I don't even know if they have trampolines at the circus, but it seems acrobatic.
Yeah, I mean, you could do a somersault on it and be safe enough. You had to put up the fence around it.
The netting around, I
it's just, it is not a one-person job.
And yet you did it.
Well, I didn't, so I got help. I had to say, lads, I've gone as far as I can go with this. I need somebody's help with it.
Do you have to stretch the thing and stuff and try and put it on?
There's a way of putting it on. You have to build a frame for it obviously first and put it up on the legs, but then when you're putting in the trampoline itself,
the skin,
you have to
is it called the skin?
Is it?
I'm just guessing. I imagine like a drum.
I call it the jumpy bit. the springy
Was
bit.
that in the instructions? And now take jumpy bit A and attach to leg C.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty much like there was like about, 60 holes around the thing.
God.
So you have to put in 60 springs. And you have to do it
it's on
like in a clock.
As well.
So you have to go like 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And then put in 3 o'clock and
kind of taut it or whatever.
Exactly, because if you put one side all in at once first, it makes it impossible to stretch it across to get it over. So you basically have to put them in at set opposite angles to each other. Exactly, to make it easier to put them in.
Is the first one easy, obviously, and then the second one, is it an absolute bastard?
No, it just gets hard towards the end, but like
the last little one, you're like,
pull it for dear life. And they have this little spring and pull implement. So it's just a little hook, basically.
Patented tool.
Yeah.
Just take your spring hook and easily drag. Is that the key thing to describe it? Just daintily pull it over the last pole.
But that wasn't it. I don't think that was even the worst bit. There's other bits as well, just little finicky bits, the tiny little nuts, screws and bolts.
Did they give you extra screws, or just one enough?
There was a bag of spare parts.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
Because I hate when they do that and they give you they're just exactly enough. So I hope you don't lose any of these tiny screws when you're doing it outside.
Oh, it was finicky, all right. But we got it up in the end, and the kids love it.
I'd say so.
But it's gas because all the trampoline, when you open it up first, it's just like. No somersaulting on the trampoline. No more than one person on the trampoline.
Oh yeah, bounce rigidly in the middle of the trampoline.
They're basically
keep your hands at your side.
Put the trampoline up, but do not jump on it.
Don't ever use this for jumping.
You'll hurt yourself.
Do you think they just have to say that? They have to do that thing of like.
Oh, definitely.
We know exactly, like bouncy castles.
We warned you.
Legally, you can't sue us when your children knock all their teeth out against each other's heads.
Well, the first thing the kids did when they jumped on it was somersaults. And they're there landing on their heads, and you're
bouncing into each other.
You're going to break your neck.
Yeah,
stop it.
That will be that'll be a rough one.
So
you say you weren't learned. Did you hand the children the booklet and go read this before you use
7 to 8 kids on the bloody thing at the same time the other day?
1, good, and 2, was there like a Royal Rumble kind of WWF?
Yeah,
that's all you wanted to do.
You have to let them do it,
And kids are bouncy, they're floppy, they can take it.
They can.
You need to get a few shocks as a kid, a few brain judders. You need to get bounced around.
Toughen up enough.
Because when some bastard had a bouncy castle for their birthday or something like that, which was great, and you went over it, and you couldn't believe it as a kid, but like, you have to get that. That's all you want to do is bounce into each other and bounce off the walls, and like that bouncing where you kind of get out of control eventually, Joe, and you're just like, you're not generating the bounce anymore, you're just being bounced around with a little ball, and the only way to stop is by hitting someone else. You got to do it. That's the best bit.
It really is. I mean,
well, that's an impressive feat, and you can say you've built a trampoline, Graeme.
Yeah.
Not many people can say that. Well, anyone who has one.
And I was building garden furniture.
Wow, well, that's less exciting, I'm sure.
Oh,
Was it, guys?
A real pain in the hoop.
Was it the real iron, the real, like, classic looking one, the heavy stuff?
No, it was like a kind of tweedy thing.
Tweedy?
You know, or
wicker?
Wicker.
The like
kind of like straw put together.
I think it's
like
wicker.
What the second pig made his house from. I
think he was the first one, wasn't he?
First was
first
was straw. The second pig was sticks, wasn't it?
Second pig was sticks.
It's kind of like an in between
bricks.
the first and the second pig. Then
no straw. Who was your first pig? What was your first pig doing?
It was straw, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or hay.
Well, hay, straw.
Yeah.
You said straw was second, so I was wondering if you had another one again.
I got confused there.
If you had a guy, you had the story completely different. You were like, first guy was feathers, second guy was straw, third guy was leaves. So your furniture is made.
Furniture's
of
a pain in the hoop, man, because it's like.
Especially was made of straw.
Yeah.
Can you sit in it?
What do you call that stuff?
It is wicker.
It is wicker or something.
Yeah.
It's like, it's nice. It looks nice.
You make the creak
but to
sound
put it
when
together,
you sit in it, when you go. Do you know that like little.
No, we
chairs.
There's cushions on it.
Oh, okay. Well then. La-di-da.
I'll send you a picture of it later on so you can see. But it's one of those ones when you put it in, you're just tightening up all the screws, and then when you go to put in like the last screw, it doesn't match up with the hole.
Oh, everything's like pulled one way. Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell is this? What sort of stupid
stand IKEA life
devil furniture is this?
I know. It's all done by machines. I think they just drill the holes, and it's like, this is exactly perfect. You're like, not for a human to try and do.
Going around loosening everything, they try shoveling away and trying to get just like. Eventually, I was just like, no, I'm just leaving it.
Oh yeah.
So I just started like hammering the screws in.
Did you have a little Allen key? Was that the?
Allen keys are the worst.
Tiny little thing trying to get.
I rediscovered my hatred for Allen keys over the weekend.
I wonder who this Allen was and why his keys are so annoying.
Oh, Allen.
Did you get one with it, or did you have to find your own? Did they provide a key?
They provide you with one little Allen key,
tiny little one. You're like, this could be all day.
That you can't turn completely because everything is.
Oh, it's against the edge.
It's against the edge, so everything's just you get like a tiny little turn on it every time.
Reset. Take it out,
and it doesn't go in properly. Oh man, I can't tell you. I'm getting flashbacks. It's horrible.
This is traumatic stuff. It's our generation's.
Just trying to get everything done because we know we're not going anywhere this summer.
These are the days of being a man when you're like,
pimp out the gaff.
Let's do it. Well, that's the thing. It seems to be the trend. Everyone's like, oh, I live in a shithole. I better do something about this since I can never leave again.
Have the new barbecue order now as well, so that'll be coming next week.
This is the trend. Everyone's obsessed with barbecues.
Well, just our one has a big hole on the bottom of it, that's and instead of the way is a nice little even spread of flame, now it's just one big massive flame that comes out of the middle of the barbecue. It's like rusted to bits.
Flamethrower. Can you
we need it.
Dip burgers over it for like half a second?
Yes, pretty much.
Scorch them quickly.
Just chuck the steak in the middle of the thing. Just turn it over
inch by inch,
and it's perfectly cooked. Medium rare in 5 to 10 seconds.
This part is medium rare. The other part is char grilled.
Yeah. Everybody's going for the fancy barbecues now. They all seem to be getting these big green eggs or getting these Komodos or something. And
tales of them, but I don't understand.
I'd say the food is amazing on them, but like the thoughts of just like,
I know, but it's
cleaning it out every time, buying the charcoal all the time.
But do you really cook that much on a barbecue, like gourmet grilling stuff?
Well, I know people who do.
Yeah,
they pretty much use it as their oven now.
They're all the time.
Oven and their
I guess
grill
if it's a real hobby and a passion, but yeah, it's such a weird thing.
But I couldn't.
I have a very functional relationship with food. I like when it tastes nice and enjoy it, but I'm only eating it to stay alive. I'm not really luxuriating in it that much. I enjoy a nice dinner, but I'm not one to like. It's not going to be I'm not going to, like, I know people who like talk about amazing sandwiches they've had like 20 years ago and stuff like that. That to me is too much. Well, it's people's passion and hobbies. People have different ones.
Yeah, just get your hang
It's
sandwich.
not mine. Just hang, bit of jang. Put it in the prang. No, no, I haven't had a barbecue, but everyone seems to go for them. It seems to be part of the outside kit or like the household thing.
Well, people are going mental, just pimping out their gardens.
People are just spending. People are addicted to spending money, and they can't go to the shops now. So people are just like, "What can I do?"
Ordering stuff,
just hemorrhaging, cash.
Getting heaters for their garden. Getting these new pizza oven thingies for outside. Yeah. Oh man!
So where do people think they live? I'm sorry. It's like people with convertible cars. I'm sure it's great on those 5 days a year when you can actually use it and you have the top down. You're like, see, suckers, it was worth the investment. But for the rest of the year, when it's getting slid open when you park it in town by some scope on Sheriff Street.
Oh, yeah.
Rightly so.
Yeah, but don't.
Rightly so.
Just don't park your car on Sheriff Street.
Well, it depends who you know. If you know the right people, you can park it anywhere. But yeah, but it's one of those things where people want to have this like Southern California lifestyle that the country's not just built for. We live on a damp, mossy rock on the northwest Atlantic or East Atlantic, I guess, depending on your which way you're looking at the world.
I think we're gonna have a pretty good summer again this year. I'm hoping we are.
We're gonna get that.
1 month or a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but it seems to be the seasons have shifted, that we get winter is now like January, February. Then we have like spring like this now, it's kind of lifting off, and then we get like scorching drought weather for like 2 months, and then the actual summer kind of June, July, August is like some like tropical monsoon rain, and then it seems to rain from like, and then it gets good again like September. And then November, December, January, it just literally doesn't stop raining.
Oh yeah,
like it's a real drop. Like biblical Noah kind of stuff. Where you're like,
we're all gonna die.
Might as well build an ark.
Will we ever get out again?
But yeah, maybe. But no, we probably get a good summer. But that's impressive. You built all that stuff. Yeah. It's modern men though. We all think we're great building this stuff that comes like pre-packaged and there's only one way to do it, and like what about people like build it from scratch? Like what if you had to build furniture from just a bit of wood that you found?
Stop, man.
And like carve it all and do it all and design it.
You may be able to do that, but
it would.
The time,
the skills, the patience. But modern men, think about this as well. This is a slightly changed subject, but it's kind of the same thing. During the week, a few nights ago, I woke up in the middle of the night to I didn't know, when you were in a dream and then you kind of wake up and you've woken up because you've heard something but you don't know what it is yet, you haven't heard it, and then I realized was the house alarm was beeping softly at like 2:30 in the morning, which is obviously always what you want to wake up to hear, your house alarm beeping ominously in the middle of the night. It was like beep beep beep. So I'm lying there in the dark after waking up going,
terrible house alarm. I mean, somebody's breaking into your house.
Well, it was more creepy, so I was like, oh my god, what's going on? So typically you're like, great, I better go investigate, because that's what you have to do, being the man. I got up and went out, pitch black, and opened the panel, and there was always this thing where I was pushing buttons before and it would say lights on, lights off, and I thought that was something to do with outside or something, but I think it meant the way the panel like lights up so you can read it.
Okay, yeah.
So the lights were off, so when I opened it, it was still just dark because I couldn't see it. So I pushed any button just to try and get it to light up, and again, an unknown feature I didn't realize. I pushed a button and it lit up, and the thing just said recording.
What?
And apparently there must be some feature I realized after that you can like record like voice notes or something. You can record audio onto the alarm panel to like leave messages for maybe other people live in the house or something. Fancy. I know.
Or if somebody breaks in, they're like, please get out of my house.
Man,
please don't take the television.
I can see you. Yeah, please, no, not that. Put it down. No, please. I said don't take it. So then it was recording. I was like, what is happening? Recording. And it's very confusing at that hour of the night. So I tried to push another button to get it to stop. And then like I must have pushed the thing that played it. So it like played what I'd recorded back to me. But when you record like silence on a cheapy speaker and you play it back, it has that like go like sound. And I was like, oh,
there's a ghost in
my god. I was terrified. I was like, oh no, I'm in paranormal activity. I'm waiting for
your haunted gaff.
I'm waiting for a voice just to go, or like say something backwards or something, and I've been just pushing buttons.
I know you keep your money under that.
Yeah, exactly. We're watching you. So then I tried to put the code in to get it, and it kind of reset itself. And then it was like flashed up like audio message. It must have been what I just done. But then I was trying to clear that, and it played it again, and I was like, this is not helping. This is really scary. Even though it was silly, my imagination just ran wild instantly. So then I managed to go back to bed. But then you're wide awake, and then June, you're like lying there, and the attic starts creaking, and you hear wind rustling, and then some other house alarm went off. I think it was a power cut that had happened in the neighbourhood, and it kind of triggered it. That it was letting you know that the power was off. But instantly I was terrified.
Yeah.
And I had to pretend not to be.
How old is this alarm? It sounds like a fancy new alarm that
it's
you have all these extra features.
It's not even that fancy, I don't think. But yeah, but I didn't even know about them or why you would use them ever. But yeah, it was scary. Do you remember the noise in the middle of the night and you have to get up and check it out and you don't want to, but you have to pretend you're cool with it?
Yeah. I've just done it a few times. I normally send the missus up.
Yeah, but that's
I'm not going. You can go.
You check it out. They won't kill you. Yeah.
Hopefully.
But it's amazing how instantly you just get panicked. Do you know what I mean? Stuff you know is silly and just instantly, or like outside lights, you know, motion sensor lights, which are good because you're like, oh, they're handy to have. But then when they come on in the middle of the night, you're like, oh no.
Yeah. See, well, we have those motion sensor lights out the front, and every car that goes by sets them off.
Oh, really?
You know,
that's handy.
You need to.
You can dip the range.
Yeah, I have tried that.
The sensor, whatever.
Very
the
sensitive
sensors. Or cars going by very close to your house.
They're close enough, like, you know. They're not.
Do you live
a
on
million miles off
in a road?
But no, we'll have to do that.
Yeah.
But we just have an alarm that you just turn on, Joe.
No fashion.
No,
is
you
it?
just put in your little code and it goes beep.
Yeah, but that's what we do.
And you have 30 seconds to get out of your house before it gets on.
Well, I don't know. Maybe there's some Ocean's 11 style gang that is playing tricks on me and they're trying to bamboozle me into leaving the alarm off one day.
I mean,
and then they'll slip in unnoticed and steal all my
get your
valuables,
fancy Rode,
my microphones and my screens, and my jewelry, my diamonds, my
your bling, yo,
my elaborate jewels I had. I don't know why in that voice, but yeah. What's yours? So you have a fancy alarm? Is your alarm just a load of like tin cans on a string that rattle if someone walks by? Clink, 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 clink. Oh, Pa, there's someone in the perimeter. Someone's on the left.
There's too many dogs around our area to have anything like that.
Dogs are good.
They just roam free around the place.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
It's like wild animals.
There's dogs everywhere.
Are they strays?
They're all just pets. But like they all just have the freedom to run around the place, like, you
on
know?
The roads. They get run over, you know.
You just meet different dogs. They all do be barking at you.
You just meet different dogs, so they're not even nice dogs.
No.
A
lot of them aren't.
Are they friendly?
No.
Do you bend down and hold your hand out for them to sniff it?
No, I did that before, and he barked at me. Right in my face. I was like,
how big are these dogs?
Why are you all so angry? Why are these dogs all so angry?
They're nervous. I was watching a show about a dog whisperer kind of guy, and he was saying they're stressed. They're unsure of their position in the pack, and they get aggro.
So many people. They all have 2 dogs each on the around the area. Like, I think
it's that country thing though.
They
get a dog and they just leave it outside.
Yeah,
no one does it with it. And they go, he's grand. He loves it out there.
It's such a headache, man. There's so many times we had to jump in a car and go looking for my brother-in-law's dog.
Oh really?
He just like, night's gone. It's gone again, and they called him Night.
Nice.
So when you're like driving around with the window down, going night, night, all the neighbours are like, good night, get off here.
Is it at night time when you're doing it as well?
A lot of the time, yeah.
If you're doing it during the day,
just go motoring down the canal, like the dogs just disappear around there, man. There's just fields everywhere.
What do you expect? You just leave a dog outside all day. It's only just think it's wander off.
It's especially when the other dogs are in heat. They just, go mental, go out there looking for the
sniff on the wind. But that's the debate now about getting animals neutered or not. So you feel bad doing it, but it's probably for the best because it stops all that stuff. The bitches in heat. scientifically. You can say that.
You can. You can. It's true.
Yeah, the male dogs do it as well, and you feel bad. We had cats and we got them neutered, and you feel guilty. That you feel like you're interfering with their life a little bit for your own convenience. But then again, they are a pet. That's what you're doing anyway.
Yeah.
For them. But what else life would they have? And there's enough cats and dogs. It's not like we need any more, or you need people to be having like wild puppies and stuff out in the streets. But I did get a depressing thing when I collected the female cat from getting it done. They're all knocked out and stuff like that, so they're kind of telling you, the vet, what to do and keep them for the day, and they're going to woozy and come around. They have them in a little box, but then they give me, you're paying, and then they give me a little receipt, like one of those old shop receipts, remember, like the little like tin ones that like print out,
blue,
it has the list, the blue ink, and it was like this, like service, whatever, and what do you call it, anesthetic and things, but then it was listed, it was like cat hysterectomy, $89.99 or whatever it was, not even that expensive, and I was like, oh, it's a bit bleak. Put that in I just bought a cat hysterectomy. that didn't feel great, but it was better for it. But they're happy now.
Yeah.
They're not driven wild by our lust. Would you like to be, not actually like to be, but
neutered?
Free from the torment of love and longing and sexual desires and
would I like
simpler life?
Oh God, yeah. Well, sure. I'm booked in. I'm booked in for my vasectomy.
Will you? Well, that's so you're basically
couple of weeks. Yeah,
that's it.
Pretty much, it's gonna stop all my loving.
It's
for things.
You've already had
people,
several children, so
yeah.
That's you proved it works, but. I guess that technically is it, but you're not losing your bits, but they're gonna like just stop the soldiers from leaving the base. Is that what it is?
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
I don't know.
I mean, all they
sometimes
do
they can reverse themselves. I've heard that sometimes they don't take or something. It's
no, I've heard that as well. Like when I was talking to other people about it.
Yeah.
There was a lad around where we come from who, but you're told, like, don't have sex because you have to go and test and make sure it worked. So basically you give a...
Oh, hilarious.
Yeah, you have to go and give
a
sample. And
that's funny.
They test it to see
so you don't test
it worked.
In case you, like, get pregnant again. And they're like, oh...
Yeah.
Sorry.
But the guy went mental, like, because his missus got pregnant.
Oh, he tested it.
And apparently went in and shot the doctor.
What?
Who performed the procedure on it. Even though
he took a turn. I thought
he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy.
I didn't even like, and he went in and gave out to him. No, he shot him.
Shot him in the leg.
In the leg?
Yeah.
That's better, I guess.
Yeah, it didn't kill him.
Didn't kill him, but still.
Was really not happy that his missus was pregnant.
He really didn't want having a kid, did he?
No.
Oh, my word. And what happened then? Then where was that?
That was in Ireland, down the country. In Offaly somewhere, I think.
Well then. That's insane.
You don't, some of them have guns down there, man.
They do.
A lot of them have guns.
And they really don't want to have another fucking kid.
Yeah.
You would think that.
But if you're told, don't,
Well, if you are told.
Do the biznay until we've tested.
Until we figure it out.
And then you go and do it anyway. What do you expect?
Yeah, you can't really complain.
No.
And you can't really shoot someone in the leg no matter how angry you are.
No.
It's funny to do it though. Again,
to shoot somebody in the leg.
Well, like, kind of, like, how do you get to the point like you think you're Clint Eastwood or something in the movie and just walk in and go, I told you. You said this wouldn't work, Doc. And I just pregnant again. It's just but they probably had like a rifle or something or a shotgun, which isn't great. They're not going to have like a pistol.
Yeah, they don't have like your 44s.
Which would be, it's probably worse to get shot in the leg with a rifle, isn't it?
Probably, like, I don't know. I have no reference.
That doctor,
imagine just getting shot by anything in the leg.
Will be pretty bad.
Bad.
Yeah. Even a little pellet gun.
But it's not, we were walking, there aren't a few guns down there. I was walking down the bog.
The country.
Down the bog.
Sure. What else are you going to do?
Yeah. And
the scenic sights.
We came across this lad who had a load of targets put out, but they want to see the guns he had, proper scopes on them and
exciting stuff.
Just like, and he gave us all a shot.
Did he?
So it was like, it was amazing. But
they are amazing. Guns are
scary
cool.
all the same.
They're terrifying.
And he just opens his boot when he has his arsenal in his boot.
Did he look legit?
Nah,
Like he had a license.
This is definitely. Oh yeah, completely. Like
He's a responsible gun owner.
proper hobbyist.
Yeah.
You know,
he wasn't just some like
crazy person.
Kinahan IRA arms dealer. He just happened to come across and he was just like, here, do you want to go?
If he was hiding.
He was a lovely
well.
guy. He was a lovely guy.
He was a good skin.
Yeah. But that's fun though. It's exciting to do it, isn't it? What did you do? Did you shoot a gun?
Yeah.
What kind of like a...
But they're probably... I wouldn't even know what it's called, but you want to see
like a
the
rifle.
bullets were this big.
50 cal,
You know, proper
28
big
caliber.
bullets. Because he was shooting things that were like 50 metres away.
Yeah.
You know?
So he's proper sniping
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
And... but we did that when we were in Thailand as well. You know, when you get your AK-47s.
Less responsible.
Less responsible. Just throw you an AK-47 and shoot that
It's
target
funny.
there.
It's so hard to do.
Semi-automatic.
Did you do it? I liked the shotgun. I had to go with 12 gauge shotgun.
Oh, did you never go that?
That was my, because we shot handguns and then AKs were harder, and I think I had contacts instead of glasses, so I couldn't really get the sights. I was leading whatever the thing was like dropping away. You know when it doesn't quite hit the target. That was fun. But the shotgun was my favorite. The proper like 12 gauge Arnie kind of thing, and they had these like targets where it was like little like lollipop men. They were closer, like they were metal, and when you shot the thing, it would kind of go plonk and like fall over. But it was kind of a bit delayed because the shotgun obviously has a spread. It's not as effective in distance, but up close. But
Did
you
you
do
say
realize
anything
how
cool before you shot it?
I didn't.
Like,
I tried not to be.
Or
You tried to get in a run. Yippee-ki-yay. Yeah. You feel in your shoulder the kind of kickback.
yeah.
But it was good though. But then I did that stupid thing where you're like, I knew I'd fired all the bullets, whatever you had, six rounds, 6 shells. And then when I'd finished, I did do the thing where I kind of turned around and was like, hey. And everyone was like, whoa. You're like, oh, sorry. I realize now how dangerous and irresponsible that whole thing is. But that's the thing. I think guns have their place. They're terrifying and you can kill those people, and it's very sad when people get shot. But
it's like being in a war, like it's just be no good. It's like even when I go paintballing, I'm the one who hides
but everyone
in a barrel somewhere.
Yeah,
Just wait for
I've
the
seen
thing
you.
to finish.
The guy going,
I got shot once with a paintball in the neck, and that was sore. So I can only imagine.
Vicious.
Like I was just there going, I don't want to be part of this.
Yeah.
But it's normally on a stag weekend where you're absolutely off
already
your face, hungover,
fragile, suffering,
out there being thrown into paintball and having paintballs sprayed at you.
Yeah.
Just they're going, no, I don't want this.
It's pretty bad, and it makes you realise how quickly you will be dead in a war. That like you're just walking along going, I don't do and you're saying, oh, that'd be it. I'd be just dead. Like you realize in a war the smart thing is to hide.
I'm the guy looking for my arm on the beach.
You are.
What the hell?
And the guy who thinks he's fine and then like takes his head. Was that he gets hit and takes his helmet off, gets shot again? But paintballing's agony. You just look like you've been beaten with a rope when you come in afterwards. Like it's not fun.
You'd hate to be the stag on one of those because they literally got them to run across a hill where everybody emptied their clip, whatever paintballs you had left were shot at him as he ran
as quickly as possible.
Oh,
it's fun. But
that's fun.
Yeah, that's fun.
I mean, they should do more.
When it's happening to someone else. It's that weird thing about life. That's funny. But that's cool. You got to play with some guns, though. Or not play, responsibly use and operate.
Just have
and
a shot
literally a shot of the gun.
Because he was there going, these bullets are like €2 each or something.
Yeah, well, this is it's an expensive hobby. I won't just mess around with this.
Shoot too many. Yeah.
It's about £100. But there was a thing. Yeah, because I remember seeing people talk about that in America, and they properly train people, and people were obviously able to use guns and have guns and be trusted with them. There's a whole thing of like you learn all these things where you, if you're giving someone a gun, that like you check it and check it's unloaded and take the thing out and check the bullets are gone and do all this sort of stuff, and you hand it them a certain way. But then when they take it, they have to do the exact same thing again straight away, even if they just watched you do it. And it's all this sort of second nature foolproof stuff that you keep doing over and over and over again so that you never end up, because that's obviously the biggest danger, is that someone who thinks a gun is empty and it isn't, and then something happens and they point and stuff. You obviously don't point it near anyone or away at anyone or up in the air and stuff like that, but it's interesting. It's just terrifying to see them in real life when you're like, oh, this is crazy. This thing is just a push a button and like someone's dead quite far away and very quickly. And you realise as well in movies when you have a real gun, when someone like is pointing a gun at somebody and they're being real cool, going, hey buddy, I'm not going to do what you tell me. And you're like, no way you would be acting like that at all. You would be like, I'm sorry, whatever, please stop. Yeah, please get away from me. Don't do it. I'm not cool.
Yeah.
No. That's exciting though. I need some guns.
You need some guns.
Just to go, yeah. I'd like to, in a gun range, responsibly controlled by people and do it and all that stuff. But it's the noise of them and the kick and all that stuff. It's all so different than what you would think. It's very loud, but incredibly loud when you're doing it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like the big crack, like the big.
Oh, the ones we went to.
The ones you were shooting recently.
I didn't know if you were talking about the ones in Thailand or the ones your man had silencers on them.
Silencers.
Yeah.
Who is this guy?
So it's just like.
Are you sure this wasn't John Wick? You just bumped into.
No, you just. They weren't too loud. No
silencer. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what was it like?
Yeah.
So was he killing? What was he doing? Assassinating? Carlos the Jackal?
Having a crack. I didn't want to ask any questions in case he killed me.
So and how was he doing this? So you just walked along him? Like, was there any danger that you could have like walked?
No. He was shooting that way, and we were coming from.
Yeah, but where is that way? Is there anyone? Could anyone be out there?
No.
Or is it like a shooting?
No, it's the way. There's only one way in. You know,
and one way out.
One way out.
Through him.
But you remember the ones we shot in the stag that time as well? Another stag that we went to in Poland, was it?
Did. That was like,
they were crazy as well.
As well. Yeah, that was kind of just go for it. Was there a handgun as well? I think. I can't remember.
There's a few different ones. I think there were shotguns in that one as well.
There might have been. They were just getting us in, getting us out. Though.
Oh yeah.
It's all very dramatic. You can't see, and it's too far. Like that shooting range thing where you're trying to get the little man on the thing.
Yeah. It's the way whenever you watch them in movies, I was like, I'd love to give that a go.
The old,
what was it, Lethal Weapon or something? He just pushes the button and he goes, I'm going to put this all the way out.
Shot for Danny Glover shoots him like in the head or in the body or something like that, and then Mel Gibson's like, oh, that's pretty good, and he does it, and he keeps going back and back and back and back for ages, and then he shoots loads, and then he brings it back, and it's like a smiley face around his head. Right. Oh, Mel,
gotta watch that again.
It's a good one. I'm getting on that tip. I'm watching a lot of old 90s classics and stuff.
Oh, are you?
Just good. They're enjoyable. Because remember we were saying about watching movies. I'm trying to watch movies rather than streaming shows because I like to watch a movie in an evening, and it's great, and it's over, and it's nice. And a lot of the films back then were good, and they're good stories and big productions and
no
good
CGI.
Actors. Yeah, like no CGI. Because I think a lot of films now, it seems to be either giant CGI kind of sequel, like whatever, Star Wars, Marvel, Jurassic Park kind of actiony thing. Not even action, just like wow. Or like really like Oscar-y art house kind of slow, boring. Like good, loads of them are good, but they're definitely of a type of movie. You know what I mean? There's very little in the mainstream entertainment kind of thing. Yeah. Well, I watched the ones you recommended, Graeme, and I enjoyed both of them.
Boom.
Speaking of guns, the boss level was very entertaining of its type. It was like kind of, what was it? Groundhog Day meets Crank, kind of. Remember those Crank films? That kind of like, they were good. They were a bit too over the top, though, because they were kind of like, oh, isn't this mad? Like, you know what I mean? They were kind of like, I don't know, trying to be ironic or something, but this was really good. I very much enjoyed it. And again, a blessed hour and whatever, 35 minutes. Get in, get out, effective. And your man's quite good, Frank Grillo, for he does that thing well. Yeah. Tough guy routine. He was in the one I watched on Netflix that was quite good called Wheelman. It was like a getaway driver one.
Oh yeah, I watched that myself.
Yeah.
Very good.
Just simple again. It was like Drive or something, but just the driving bit rather than all the rest. But yeah, it's funny there's so many films because you were saying that Palm Springs one is like the day loop thing, whatever they're called. And I never saw it, but there was one called Happy Death Day to You or something. It was like a kind of a slasher movie, like comedy slasher movie thing. The same thing where some girl wakes up every day and some like kind of like the guy from Scream is trying to kill her, and every time he gets her, she wakes up again, and the whole thing is her trying to figure out how to get away from him or something like that. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's a trend for Groundhog Day type movies. Groundhog Day was a long time ago. It's funny they're all just coming out now. They're all figuring it out. Because there's kind of time travel movies is one thing, but then these ones where you like you wake up and it's the same day and you do it again and again and again. Is that sign of times? Are people just getting really bored? And people just making movies about
definitely.
Waking up.
This is what our life is like now.
How do I escape?
We're living in a Groundhog
We're literally doing it. I got you, babe.
It's funny because I actually started. What was it? The Winter Soldier. Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
How was that?
It's good, man.
It's good.
I mean,
just they're all going to be good.
Good action, and Marvel just seemed to have it nailed.
We got some wisecracks, we got some action, we got some slick plots. Nothing really matters.
Yeah. And then also started another series as well, which I think I'm going to race through because they're only like 40 minutes long each. So
that's long. That's pretty good.
What's it called? The One.
The One.
The One.
Oh, was that
Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically they get the genetics from your hair.
Yeah.
And they match it up with somebody.
Oh, they do.
That's your one true love.
Perfect pairing. Mm-hmm. And does it go well?
And so far, so good.
Yeah.
Like,
it's pretty simple. That's it. Job done.
That's it.
You're perfect match. See you later.
But guess what?
It doesn't always work. It doesn't.
Oh, well.
Or maybe
your one who runs the whole thing is a bit. She's a bit dodged now.
You would think she would be running a service like that now.
She's a billionaire. And she's got some.
You can't trust a billionaire.
She's got some skeletons in her closet.
Like actual skeletons in her closet? Or?
Well.
Just open the closet at the end. You're like, oh my god, it's full of skeletons.
Oh my god.
The previous genetic pairings that didn't work out.
It's funny because the movie starts with them finding a skeleton.
Oh, is it?
In the water, though.
Oh, not in her wardrobe.
No.
In the water.
There you go.
Interesting twist on an old classic.
Yeah, but it's good. So I'd recommend that one. It is. It's on Netflix.
Show.
Only 8 episodes, and that's I have to do that now before I start.
You check how many it is.
I check how long they are.
Yeah.
And how many episodes.
Terrible state of affairs.
Because then I'm just like,
is it a once-off? Is it a mini-series? So it's like just. It's a one-time thing.
I think so. Now, it might go into a second season. I don't know. I haven't got to the last episode yet. I might leave it in a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
but
they always do. And you're like, come on.
See, I have to look out for things like that now because with the kids and all, you have to. It's like I can see that I can watch 2 episodes now before I go to bed.
Time is parceled in.
You know?
But that's why movies are good. But it's the weird thing. People always get the thing of like, I can't watch a movie. It's too long. And then they sit and watch like 4 hours of like a TV show because it's end on end on end.
But that's because you're like, I'll stop after 2. But then you're like,
because they always nothing happens for 38 minutes, and at the end it goes, actually, he's dead. What? Next episode, 5, 4, 3.
Just one more.
Just one. You always do. It's like sweets, though. You always the one more is always too much. You always go, oh yeah, come on, one more. And then that one, you're like, at the end, you're like, come on, I gotta go to bed. And then it's weird how you wait till it's over. Because even in like Netflix and all, you can just turn it off and you come back, it's right there instantly. But we all wait and go, come on. It's 11:30. So just stop. You're in control. But we don't seem to be. We're not in control. The algorithms are in control.
Yeah, no, you gotta see it till the end, Joey.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be like that. If I start something, I'm not going to stop till it's finished.
Till it's over. But that's what they love. Apparently that's what they like TV shows more than movies on the streaming thing, because it's like they're just trying to get you to spend. It's like a website technically, so they're just trying to get you to spend time on it. So obviously 10 hours of a TV show is better than a 2-hour movie that you're done with and gone. So
they have it nailed.
Like Netflix do that annoying thing where they don't let you see the credits. There's at the end of a movie and the credits come on, there's music, and you kind of relax a bit and you're sort of like, that was good or that was shit.
Because next episode starts in 5 seconds.
No, it just stops, because I used to play a trailer, but I managed to turn that bit off, but now it just cuts and just a picture and it just kills like the music and it's just dead. You're like, come on, man.
It's annoying if you're an actor as well. You used to like seeing your name coming up in the credits.
It's great. Or if you're like a Best Boy Grip, or you're in, God forbid, if you're in accounts or catering and you're right down the bottom and you're like, or you're in the special thanks. Oh, you're like, come on, special thanks.
taken from you.
Taken, snatched from you. It's your glory, your moment. But I liked that I Care a Lot one as well. I watched that. That was very, very good.
Told you.
But excellent film, but it's good because you kind of hate them so much at the start. Like, it's really well made and stuff like that, but then the characters are so evil to a degree. You're like, I hate these people, they're terrible. And then they start getting their comeuppance, and you're like, yeah, get them. And it's funny, they're getting their comeuppance from like objectively far worse people. They're doing far worse things, but for some reason you're like, yeah, kill them, kill these people. Which I think is quite good filming, because it does kind of put you in the position where you're like rooting for like terrible things to happen to people.
Yeah, it was weird because I was dead against her at the beginning, but then rooting for her when all that other stuff started happening.
Oh really?
And then I was kind of
seesawing between them,
between the both.
But that's good, because I was kind of more like, just get her, I don't care. I was the opposite. I was like, burn her,
witch.
Yeah, literally, she's a witch. And then at the end it was good, because it does, you kind of towards the end, because I'd remember towards the end you were like, oh, there's a twist at the end. I was like, oh yeah, there's a twist. And then I thought it had happened. I was like, is that it? And normally you hate when people tell you there's a twist, because then you're kind of waiting for it. You're like,
oh, sorry.
No, but not really. But you know what I mean? When you're like, there's a twist coming, you're waiting for something. But then it still got me. It was a good one. It wrapped it all up then quite well. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, okay, they kind of knew what they were doing the whole time. It wasn't just one of these black comedies where everyone's terrible and you're kind of like, oh, the world is crappy. But it was good, and it was a twist like a famous film, but I won't say it because it kind of gives it away. A very famous one. But no, I enjoyed it a lot. I watched a film you might like as well. Some people said it wasn't good, and I can kind of see why, but it was a comedy thing called Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar is the name of the film. And it is...
That's quite the tongue
It is
twister.
quite the little mouthful.
Barb and Star Go to... Vista Del Mar.
Del Mar. There you go. And it's, Kirsten Wiig, is that her name?
Yeah.
How you say it? Is it Wiig? You say it?
I say Weig.
Weig. I was thinking it might be something like that. Like, Kristen Weig. It's her.
She's funny.
She's very funny. She's the main one, I think. And it's her, I don't know, some friend of hers maybe. They're kind of like a little duo. And it's very much... kind of like Anchorman Zoolander kind of style thing. They're kind of like two like innocent kind of dorky best friends who go on a holiday to some like cheesy resort and get swept up into this big conspiracy adventure kind of thing. Okay. But it's that kind of, it's really cool. It's like that I Care a Lot. It's really slickly filmed and beautiful and stylish. But then it's real silly humour.
Who's the friend in it?
I don't know. It must be some other comedy actors you wouldn't knew from years ago.
Not from Saturday Night Live or anything.
I don't think so.
Movies together.
No, it's no one I'd know off bat. I can't remember her name now. And she was very, very funny as well, though. But it's no one big or like that kind of Tina Fey or anything like that kind of style. But it was good. I really enjoyed it. It got me a few times. A few good chuckles.
Okay, Joe. I'm going to watch
And your man's
that.
in it, Jamie Dornan. Is Jamie Dornan the guy from the North? The Northern guy from 50 Shades of Grey and The Fall and stuff. Yeah. He's quite good in it, but he's playing kind of a handsome doofus. So he's well cast. Yeah. I'd assume. He is beautiful. But it's no good. Denying that. That's you can watch that now for the week and get back to us. But yeah, I'd recommend it. It was funny. Good jokes, but silly. So, when those silly Anchorman... Look, Anchorman's one of my favourite comedies of all time. But Anchorman, but some people don't like that stuff. They just go, what's going on? I don't get it. I just read today that they're making a third Ace Ventura. No way, really? I'm pretty excited about that, Joe. That's literally your dream come true. Third Ace Ventura. Yeah. They're really going back to the well on too many things, don't they? I just wonder... It's never the same. Yeah, it is. Like, are they going? Is Jim Carrey? Jim Carrey has to play it, but he's so old now. And he's a bit like he was good in Sonic. Don't know if you watched the new Sonic. I heard everyone say it was quite good though. I watched it and I enjoyed it. But it's good. You get to kids and stuff like that. Were your kids watching it or were just you? No, it was just me and my mom. I was like, oh, what will I watch tonight? Sonic the Hedgehog. But I heard, Jim Carrey's back, baby. He's back doing his thing. He was good in it, but I think
new Ace Ventura. I think it's like when they brought out Dumb and Dumberer.
Yeah,
Oh.
Dumb and Dumberer, and then they've done it was like they had Borat 2, and even though that's not that old, even and Coming to America 2 was on there. I didn't watch that.
I haven't watched it myself yet.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know if they're just doing it because it's like our generation now, our age, are like the people in charge of making things now, so they're all like, this would be great, right? That thing we love or people love, let's do it again.
Bring it back.
Yeah, it's like
they're not even remakes, they're kind of like sequels,
like long sequels, like 20 years later, and then you're like, okay.
But I did watch Ace Ventura there again the other day.
Did you?
Just for the crack. I was
mean.
doing a quiz on Zoom the other night, and one of the questions was, what was the name of the monkey in Ace Ventura?
I wouldn't.
Can you remember?
No, I remember Snowflake was a dolphin they were looking for.
That's not Snowflake.
That's not
Snowflake.
I just watched it so many
Such
times.
a good movie.
What was it called?
I can't remember.
After all that.
Oh, leave it with me. It'll come back. It's in there. But anyway, I don't know.
Michael or something.
That question was asked, and I was just like, I gotta watch that movie again. And it was bloody
That's
good.
what I'm enjoying. We watched Cable Guy there recently. It was really good.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's just that's what I mean. We're watching the 90s, or like which ones you used to watch like loads when you were a kid. You'd watch them like fucking 20 times a week, or maybe not that much, but you know what I mean. Like you just had a video, and you're like, let's watch this again. There's nothing else to do, and then you go back and watch them, and you're like, wow, I've forgotten loads of this, but also I remember every single word in another way. Like every little bit. But yeah, they were the funniest things when you were young, especially our age. Jim Carrey, Ace Ventura, and then Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
I just couldn't beat it.
He was the business. The Mask, even when you were younger, was amazing.
Yeah. I didn't watch The Mask as much. It was one of those ones that for some reason I didn't get as much, or I didn't see it as much. I think I saw it in the cinema, but it was good. Yeah, but that was another one that was like a weird plot as well. You're like, how do you come up with the plot of that film?
Yeah.
Guy gets a mask, becomes a cartoon, and that was it.
That's all you need.
I guess that was Jim Carrey. They were like, let's
just give
get
him
this
a mask.
guy to do 50 million faces and voices,
crazy things.
yeah, over and over again. And then Cameron Diaz's first film role, that was her big start off break.
Amazing.
Launched her. I need to watch something about Mary again. I was thinking about that as well recently. It's going to be a big one. But yeah, it's funny. Yeah, they've all kind of faded away. Jim Carrey became like a crazy artist then.
But comedies aren't as good. Like it's hard to get the comedies.
They don't want to do, but that's what I mean about
doing them right.
The middle level of thing of like they're not spending the money. It's either like giganto blockbusters to like sell around the world and like try and start a theme park off and sell like lunchboxes and things.
Yeah.
Then like awards films where you're trying to like impress a few critics and movie people kind of vote for it and go, isn't it great? Isn't this really great? Everyone's like, no, it's terrible. Well, there's those real Emperor's New Clothes films where they're like, it's like arty films have a thing now that's happened that like it's like another genre, so there's just all these like tropes that they put in, but because they're supposed to be good films, everyone's too scared to go, that was crap. Do you know what I mean? It's because it's slow and boring and nothing happens and it's miserable and
like any Christopher Nolan movie.
Well, they're kind of in between. They're like gigantic blockbusters that are slow and boring and stupid. Yeah, I don't like them. I like everything about Christopher Nolan except his films, which is the saddest thing in the world. I like the fact he makes original films and he makes big, huge things and he does all practical stunts and stuff like that, and he doesn't do CGI, and he does tries to shoot it on film, and he's doing all the best possible things. But then the film's just so silly. It's hard to take them.
But I think we're in the minority there, though.
We are.
I think
people just think they're cool. I think it's the scripts get me because they're so. I think he's like one of these directors who's like a really good director, but not the best script writer. But everyone's obsessed with doing both now. It's like that singer-songwriter thing where I remember people used to be like, "I'm a really good songwriter, and you're a really good singer." Yeah. But now it's like, no, you're not credible unless you're the one doing both.
Okay.
Whereas Christopher Nolan, I think, should be doing like Steven Spielberg thing where he has good ideas for films, and then you should get some guy who like knows how to write dialogue and like scenes rather than that, because he seems to go up with like an idea for a gimmick and then like top down works out what's going to happen, and then all the people just end up being these weird personality-less people who just walk around in suits and kind of just talk to each other about, like, you see, inversion is the way we talk about things in time, but time is not what you feel. Time is what you see, and what you know is not what you feel, and what you know is not real. You must go now to Mumbai and meet Christopher Colombo, and he will tell you more. And then he just goes,
shit just writes itself. That's amazing.
It's all this weird, like, vague kind of dialogue, and it's all this mysterious stuff that then doesn't actually make any sense. And then it sets up all these rules, and then the rules don't even matter in the end. And then the last one, I went to see Tenet in the cinema because it was open, and it was one of the few things on. It was something to do, and I actually enjoyed it more than I thought, because I made a deal with myself. When I went in, I was like, when anyone ever starts talking, I'm just going to stop paying attention. And it really worked well, because they just talk nonsense, and it's so vague, and if you try and follow it all, it's like really frustrating, because you're trying to keep track of who's who and what's going on, and none of it matters at the end, because he's going to still try and trick you and be like, haha. It's built for like nerds on the internet who spend like hours then trying to, like, it's like a puzzle.
Break it down.
But it's a puzzle that has no like interesting bit at the end, and it's sort of like, it's not satisfying otherwise, if that makes sense. Like a film that's trying to like trick you is never very enjoyable unless it's like entertaining. I don't know, but the action scenes were good, and the backwards fighting and stuff like that, and he does things like that, but other than that, no, they're not the greatest films of all time.
I just remember the name of the monkey. Ventura. I just popped
while
into
I'm
my head.
rambling away.
You're talking there.
What is it?
I had a very you were like the Christopher Nolan movie there at the time, when I was just like, don't listen to him, and you'll think of the name of the monkey.
Well, I'm glad I could help.
Spike.
Spike the monkey. That's good. It's classic.
Yeah.
Good
name.
It's a good name for a monkey in Ace Ventura. Well, there you go. So I just need to, whenever you can't remember anything, just imagine me going, whoa, 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 whoa.
That's when I do my best thing.
It's like you're just off somewhere else entirely. Glad you're paying so much attention to my riveting opinions when Christopher Nolan, the most successful director of modern times, I tell him why he's wrong. I tell him what he needs to do different. I like Dunkirk as well, because that was no talking.
Yeah, Dunkirk was,
and it was just
alright
action, and it still did the stupid
intermission was
thing.
good. I think that was intermission.
Did he direct intermission?
The bit when Colin Farrell jumped over and
fucking what?
Yeah.
That was really good. No, I liked intermission as well. He did a good job.
What's
on that
it called?
Interstellar.
No. Interstellar was no.
Oh, Inception. Yeah,
I quite enjoyed that, but I love anything that Leonardo
DiCaprio. I know you love
Leonardo DiCaprio. I love him, man. He's amazing.
He's a good actor.
He doesn't do anything. He's
got
really
good taste.
Put a foot wrong.
He does. That's the thing.
You know,
he's doing what it was like Tom Cruise like that in the 90s, where they're the biggest star, and you can tell they're good because they get good stuff made. Like they actually have good taste. They make good film. Like Tom Cruise obviously has gone into just pure crazy blockbusters now, but he used to do it where he's like, every film he was in was like, this is really, you'd work with a big director and get some weird idea, and Leo's definitely doing that. All the films he does now are actually, they're worth your time, man.
Yeah, Revenant, all that, man. It's just, you know, anything. He was in those movies with why can't I remember anything anymore?
Swiss Cheese Brain. But he does Inception was good. I think if you watch it again, you'd be like, this kind of stupid and annoying. Like they just keep explaining what's going on all the time, and it's not really dream-like. It's like very business-like. His dreams are men in suits walking around streets, much like the reality. But it's good. They're all right. They go on a bit long, and there's always like a dead wife.
There we are saying I don't like Christopher Nolan movies, and we're just there. Dunkirk's good.
No, I'm saying Dunkirk's good. Well, it's
Inception was all right.
I'm saying I like them, but I just don't love them the way everyone else does. Do you know what I mean? I think they're
people went mad for Interstellar. I found it so boring. Yeah, like just boring.
But exactly, and it's the same thing where it's like he's like, oh, this planet, time moves 6 times faster than that time, and you're like, okay, and then just like never gonna watch. He never seemed to do, because the first time I didn't like, I loved. Memento, that was excellent, and that kind of worked, the messing around with the time thing, because it suited the whole plot, because it was him kept forgetting everything, so you were experiencing things like him, and that really worked well. And then he did one called Insomnia, but it was like a weird remake with Al Pacino and Robin Williams.
Oh yeah,
Do you know the one where he's
like in the place where it never goes dark.
In Alaska or somewhere, and it never gets dark, and he can't sleep, and he's kind of trying to chase a killer, and he's kind of losing his mind or something. He shoots his partner by mistake, and then the killer sees him, and then it's a whole weird thing. And that was pretty straightforward.
We say spoiler alert before we say the spoilers.
Well, for a film that's like
after
a film that's about 20 years old or something, and it's like, I think that happens early on. That's like the plot. It's like, it's not like an end. It's like first third maybe. Come on, who's watching Insomnia now? Who's going to get that spoiled?
I don't know, man.
It's a good one. Rob Williams is very good. Rob Williams is a killer in that, and he's good creep. Then he did The Batman Begins, which was good. I liked until he became Batman. It was when he was training and stuff. Batman's good. I love Batman so much, but I don't think the film's really ever good because it doesn't really work. He always looks a bit silly. Although I did like the Tim Burton ones. They were kind of cool.
Oh yeah, young. The originals.
Well, it's
the Joker,
like
Jack Nicklaus as the Nicholson.
Jack Nicklaus. He was excellent as the Joker.
He was brilliant. I mean, he's a great golfer, a wonderful actor.
Wonderful.
Jack Nicholson
really surprised us with that performance. A lot of. But they're good. Like Batman works when it's like kind of gothic fairy tale like that, where everyone's kind of weird. But the baddies are always more interesting. And Batman just kind of shows up. And
I look forward to seeing what sort of job
the new
Robert Pattinson does with the Batman. It's going to be interesting.
It looks good, the little trailer and stuff. They've gone for the whole Seven look. It looks very like Seven. It's all
dark,
dreary and
mysterious,
rainy and serial killery. It could be very good. He could be good, Robert Pattinson. Again, Batman's a weird part.
It's gone from teenage heartthrob to like superhero.
It's going to Leo,
like,
I know.
Because he took a turn there when he did The Lighthouse and he doing all these
indie kind of weird films, But that's again, when you get the money and the profile, you're getting these little films made and trying to good taste. He's good. He seems like a bit of an oddball. I'm not sure. I don't think he's the best actor, but he's good. But he's not the best bit in loads of good films. He's good in lives, but he's probably getting better. He's still quite young. And the Batman good. It's a good director. The guy did kind of Cloverfield and then The Planet of the Apes and stuff like that. So
yeah,
hopefully it's good. But again, it's another Batman film. I think people are getting a bit fatigued. I did watch for my sins for the crack the Justice League movie. There's a new one.
Oh, the 4 hours. What the hell?
But that's what I was saying, like a streaming service thing. But it was quite well done. It was like broken into chapters, and it was obviously better than the whatever one they made first.
Right.
The Joss Whedon-y kind of butchery thing. But it was enjoyable. It's Zack Snyder thing, so it's very much of that. It's like he has a style. Say what you want about him. It's like they're very cool looking, kind of slow motion, epic, big fights. They're kind of like 300 and Watchmen and all that kind of stuff. And it goes on a bit. It was curious to see, but it was interesting. And it was shown in the 4:3 format, I think, where it's like a square.
Why?
I don't know. Apparently, when they filmed it originally, it was supposed to be for IMAX, the big things. And apparently, that's square shaped. I didn't realize.
Oh, right.
The way they film it, it's a different type of film. So they did that. You get used to it. It actually looks quite good. But when it came on first, I was like, "Is this wrong? What's happening?"
Changing the ratio.
Exactly.
On your telly.
Everything's used to being widescreen. It's real cheesy and silly still, and the end is obviously just big CGI fights, the usual. But it was better.
Superman just flying through buildings,
coming back,
destroying.
He's back in black. He only comes in at the end though, and then Ben Affleck being Batman. He's good as Bruce Wayne, but then when they have him as Batman, he's kind of like this. He kind of has some big weird suit. It's kind of no neck, and it's that funny thing again where it's like Wonder Woman, Aquaman, The Flash are all like super beings, and then Batman's like. But a guy's like, you're like, dude,
his little
his
belt with his tools in it.
It's like, you're doing well, man. You're hanging in there. You're doing.
How has he not died?
I don't know.
Like he's just a human in a suit.
Exactly. He just works real hard. So that's why I don't think it just looks silly. Whereas I think Batman doing that like against gangsters or like creepy, weird, like crazy villains and stuff works a bit better. But we'll see how he gets on. Robert Pats.
I don't know if I'll be able to watch that. 4 hours, man.
No, you don't. I'd
have to start then at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, even it was a huge deal. I was more being a complete. I had the house to myself for months. I was like, I'll never get an opportunity to do this again. No one else will ever let me sit down and watch this, and rightly so.
So you're throwing on Zack Snyder's Justice League, and
Justice
I'm throwing
League.
on
The Snyder
Sonic the
Cut.
Hedgehog.
You're talking Sonic the Hedgehog or the one. Both ridiculous. Both should be having better things to do at a time. But it was good. What was it talking about? Oh yeah, the Christopher Nolan. Yeah, The Dark Knight. That was the first one I didn't like, when everyone went insane for, and I was like, I don't know if I like this much.
I did like that one.
Everyone liked it. It was good.
I think
I was so excited to see it, and then, you know, when you're really into something, like, it's that thing where, like, if you hear something's terrible and you watch it and you go, no, it's alright actually, or if you hear something's amazing and then you see it and you go, oh, it was fine, I guess. It didn't really, but it was just the first time where the plotting was all over the place. I think I was like, what is going on? And like, when those films that have a fake ending, like, it felt like it ended and then there was a whole like other 30-40 minutes of like other plot. I was like, what is going on? You're gonna do this now? Right now? Two-Face now? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. But Heath Ledger, man, in that movie was just amazing.
He was good, but then he died, and then everyone was like, well, it must be really good then, because he died and he was playing a creep. He was very good though, although I think Jack Nicholson's still better. Yeah, because I watched that recently, the first Batman, and he's funny.
But what about Jared Leto?
Jared Leto. The less said about Jared Leto, the better. But no, he's alright. It's just he was in a terrible film as well. Because even that film was like. Was it Bruce? Not Bruce. It was fucking Will Smith, and like Batman's in that film, and it's terrible. And even Batman looks stupid. He just kind of goes on a rope. I'm arresting you, Deadshot, for killing loads of people. He's like, not in front of my daughter, man. He's like, what are you doing? Shopping with your daughter when you're the world's biggest killer.
I didn't see that one.
Oh really?
No.
That's really bad. Suicide Squad. It's another one they did. I think it was that weird DC thing, like the Justice League thing. An animal digging at the door, where I think it was like Marvel Studios, or not Marvel Studios, Warner Brothers, who owned the DC thing. They were having like crazy Hollywood executive like fights with different people. Were keep being the head of the studio, where like there was loads of people competing to do it. So they were all like office politics. Kind of hiring and firing each other. Excuse me. And then like they were basically all wanted to copy Marvel. They're like, we own superheroes, do a Marvel with whoever's in charge. So they had your man Zack Snyder, and then everyone hated his like Batman versus Superman, Man of Steel stuff. So they were like,
it was terrible.
Get him out and just like let's re-edit. Like they'd filmed all these films with this real serious tone. Yeah. They're like, let's just re-edit them and make them like a Marvel movie. So like Suicide Squad, they even got the guys who made, they had a trailer that was really somber, and then they had this like trailer with like set to Bohemian Rhapsody that was really fast cut and like colourful, and they'd obviously just done that thing where you can edit footage to make it look like anything. Yeah. And then everyone went nuts for that, and they're like, "Ooh, the film isn't anything like this." So they got like the people who edited the trailer to have a go at editing the film, and they like just edited the film really. It's terrible.
It's like one big long trailer.
Kind of. It's like an MTV video or something, but not in a good way at the start. It's really thrown together. It's funny. But they seem to be figuring it out a bit better. Catching up on the slick
with
Marvel.
a 4-hour long Justice League.
4 hour. Well, that was sad though, because apparently he was in charge of making it, Zack Snyder, and then he kind of got the boot. But he had a family tragedy. Apparently his poor daughter had committed suicide during it. So he was having a rough old time. And then he kind of got taken off his own job, and then they brought in some other guy to do it who just like changed all around, and they just edited it all terribly and then released the film, and it was a big flop. So there's this weird like fan campaign to like release the Snyder Cut they've all been doing on Twitter and stuff for ages, and everyone was slagging them, but they kept it going for years. And then they're doing, because like HBO is Warner Brothers as well, they've launched their own streaming service, so they're all trying to compete. So they decided to do it as a project. To see if it's popular, and it has been now. So we're in the age of fan power now, where fans can just demand. If you get enough people online to start giving out about stuff, because that's what they're going off. They just want to see if what's popular. It's like the way they make all these superhero movies all the time, because I was saying it's like the sports of like nerds that like, you like football, so you will spend all day talking about football because you're interested in it. You'll talk about what's going to happen at the weekend, who's going to play, what do you think will happen, what do you think needs to happen, what should happen. The game will happen, you'll watch it. Then you'll talk about after the game, what did happen, was it any good? It was, even if it's a terrible game or a boring game, you'll still talk about it. So they've kind of done that with nerds now with superhero movies, that they'll sit and talk about what's going to happen in the movie, what you think needs to happen. Like, it's the online chatter is like part of the whole buzz now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so they have this, like, they kind of like market these things for years, and they kind of drip feed all these theories and stuff, and like the studios now, that's why they all love the internet, because they're able to like actually measure interest by how many people click and talk and share things and likes, you know, forwards and stuff like that. So they just build this hype machine for like 2 years until it's like, oh, Ventura comes out for 2 weeks, makes all the money, and then it disappears in a week, and that's it. Like, rather than when they used to like release a film and go, tell your friends, is it good? And then like slowly it would kind of build up and go and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good way. I mean, those like, they're just making $1 billion.
They are. But the stuff now at the cinemas, it's funny.
A movie, it's amazing.
But will they now? Because that's the next thing they have to wait and see, because they're delaying all their movies. They're supposed to have Black Widow out and stuff in April, but then they're not sure.
You release them on? You want them to have the cinema release, you know?
But that's the thing, so they just keep delaying it back and forward. Yeah, because that's where you make all the money as well.
You could be waiting a long time.
They could be.
Oh, God.
When people get vaccinated. In America, they're bombing ahead with the vaccinations, so they might get in early. But then people might be into it. It's funny. People aren't sure yet. No one really knows, like, with all this stuff. If
do you want to sit in a dark room with loads of other people?
For like 2 hours or 3 hours, or if the habit's been broken
4 hours.
slightly, or 4 hours if you're really pushing it. Well, yeah, all those Avengers ones was 3 hours recently and stuff. So yeah, a dark, crowded, sealed room. Yeah, do you remember people just coughing all the time? I'm sure people will go for it. People will just won't care. But I think cinemas are going to be, it's weird, it's going to be one of those things where the big chains might be in trouble, because they were so built on this model of like a new blockbuster every week just hitting in, and they were just making money off the sweets and the food, and it was all kind of, they kind of ran the places shittily. Like, the experience wasn't very nice going. You were kind of paid a lot, and then you were sitting there, and
you really did.
You paid a lot. You'd be like a half an hour of ads. You'd have like 20 people on their phone just talking around you, and you were like, and then the film would be like, yeah. So you're like this, and then some people are sitting at home with like 65-inch TVs now, and like all the movies that have ever existed in their hand. You kind of have to do something to compete a little bit. So maybe the kind of trendier little cinemas that's all like a nice experience, it'll become that, where you like want to go
where you get your coffee in,
get your little crap, your little nibbles, your dips, your things, or just people want to watch a film. No matter what the film was, you're going for the experience of like enjoying the film
on the big screen.
Because the Marvel thing, that's what they reckon. It's the Black Widow supposed to come out now next, and they're not sure what to do yet. So if they release that online at the same time as the cinema, that's the tempting thing. Okay. And if it does well, then that could like break the stranglehold of the cinemas a little bit, because cinemas are successful because it's the only place you can see the film.
Well, that would be a shame.
It would be a real shame. But then again, it might change the type of films being made, that they're not concentrating on, if they can't make whatever $100 million in their first weekend or whatever, they might make a bigger variety of films, because they're kind of just only, like Disney as well particularly, is just like only making giant CGI films based on stuff they've already made, essentially. You know what I mean? Like literally
like making the Lion King,
and they're doing all those. They're doing like Peter Pan, and they're doing Cruella de Vil. They're doing they're doing.
But there already is a 101 Dalmatians movie,
and now there's another one from Cruella's point of view. Like from when she was, it has Emma Stone. It's like a big like, it's like
she's not Cruella.
She's young Cruella.
No way.
This is the world we live in, where Oscar-winning actresses get to play prequel versions of cartoon characters from 50 years ago. It's rough out there but I even noticed that in the boss level thing, because like there's loads of supporting characters in it who are all like big names, but they all have these tiny little parts. Like, you and Naomi Watts was like the kind of the girlfriend, and she has like 2 scenes, and even Ken Jeong being like the guy in the bar thing. And Mel Gibson, obviously Mel is kind of toxic personality and sense of like that, but it's still a big name. I thought he would have a much bigger part in the film than he did. But so I think it's tough out there for a pimp, for the actors these days, unless you're like a mega name.
No doubt.
There doesn't seem to be many parts. Because there was a funny thing, it was that thing, I watched A Few Good Men recently,
Amazing.
And it's a great film, obviously, and obviously they were all like courtroom dramas was the big hot thing in the day, and everything goes through its trends and things are always changing. There's not like a good time or a worse time, but you really noticed then that was like a film. There was like maybe like 8 or 10 good parts. You know what I mean? If that makes sense, and they're all kind of name actors you'd see and you'd know. And they all had a few good scenes, and it was like worth their while being in it and stuff like that. And that stuff has definitely gone out the window as well now. It's funny, so
maybe we should write a jury movie.
A jury movie?
Yeah. Because it's been a while.
Jury movie.
Yeah.
So 12,
Leonardo
12 people.
DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Maybe we should just remake A Few Good Men.
Or was it 12 Angry Men? Is that the one?
12 Angry Men as well. Runaway Jury.
Runaway Jury.
I used to love all those John Grisham movies.
But that was the thing.
He just wrote books. The Client.
Courtroom.
And they were all amazing. Time to Kill was amazing. Matthew McConaughey and Samuel L. Jackson doing that thing. Yes, I think they deserve to die and hope to burn in hell.
That was really... Now imagine, she was white. Isn't that what he says?
Oh, yeah.
That was good. It might be good. That's another one. And there's like, again, you'd think that Kevin Spacey was in that one. There was like, everyone's got a juicy little role. And you're like, it's pretty good. But again, that's what's replaced like HBO shows and streaming services and stuff like that. So adults don't go to the cinema anymore. They sit at home relaxing, not surrounded by people. But hopefully they will go again. Things will change. I think we'll flip back again.
Because I do love the cinema.
Everyone loves the cinema. Who doesn't love the cinema?
No, it was pricey.
It was
like, if you wanted to go on a date to the cinema, you were dropping 40, 50 quid.
Easy.
And if you wanted to go to the Stella, you were dropping 70 to 80.
I've never been yet. Again, because it looks like a beautiful place, a nice experience, but it looked like it was more about the whole thing rather. Was it nice to watch a film in it?
I don't know. I didn't go.
Did you know?
That's way out of my price range. That's crazy.
We're beyond those kind of dates.
I was supposed to be going to, when I was in Damon Ivor the movie, they were going to have the for all the cast and crew to watch them in there, but the big snow stopped that. So that was going to be
your debut.
My way to get into the Stella for free.
It's pretty good. You're like, I'm in the movie. Excuse me, I'm in the movie. Can I come in, please? Pardon me, but I'm in the movie. And they were like,
don't you know who I am?
Yeah. They're like, what's the movie again? Damon Ivor. Oh yeah, fair enough. On you go. It was pretty good though. I remember watching that on Netflix. You were very funny.
It's good times. They were good times.
Yeah. Back before the snow took it all away from you.
Oh, yeah. Then we ended up going on a very wet day to the cinema out in the end of the Lewis line.
Oh, in the Point Village.
Point Village, yeah.
Kind of like like it looks like a zombie movie because it's a giant shopping centre and it's just empty.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's massive. It's an I've been down there a few times.
Odeon, isn't it?
Odeon, I think. Yeah.
That's where they have
They do a lot of events there, but it was one of those that they
Max
put it in. Oh yeah, they all have these made up like fake IMAX scripts. The only IMAX is up in, I think that's real IMAX in Parnell Street. But yeah, the Odeon one, I think they put that in before the kind of financial crash. It was one of those that like they were like, let's go to the Docklands in Dublin, it's going to be booming, put this huge thing in. It was like, wah, wah, straight away. Nobody lives here. And they didn't build all the offices they said they were going to build. Yeah. They kept it going though. It's nice to have the variety.
But it is, it's all around crazy around there. Around the Point Village and around that area now. It's just full of restaurants and things to do. Like it is like crazy.
Hopping. It's the trendy. There's a lot of hotels and stuff like that and things. And I always get that mental thing. Do you know when you have that weird Dublin map in your head of like Collins Street, Grafton Street's like this kind of axis and going off it is kind of strange. But when you're on a Colin Bridge, like going left up towards like Houston Station, you kind of think of that as all town. And going right, you think it's like quite close to the point, but it's miles down. It's like it's as far down as it is to Houston on the other side. So there's just so much in there, and they're only building more.
Yeah,
it's going to be big. The place to be if you like big living in giant glass boxes.
Cool there at night. All those lights, the convention centre and all, the cool Hart Bridge.
The Hart Bridge, like, or the Grand Canal Docks with all the red stuff and the checkery buildings and stuff. Yeah, we need more. We need more lit up buildings. Would you like them to build some big skyscrapers down Dublin?
Not really. No, I don't
not like massive like Empire State buildings, but like
more Liberty
No, not nicer looking than that, but like
Yeah, but like that size
10, 12
with lights on it.
Lights on it,
crazy
a bit
neon
wider.
lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neon lights. Huge. Just pick one area, pick this area, and just go. We're going to put in like actual 200-story Burj Khalifa kind of style thing. Just one building that's like a kilometre tall. And everyone's like, what the hell? Blocks the sun. It's like the Mr. Burns thing. Every time, a certain time of the day, it just casts a shadow across. You can tell time of Dublin by this thing.
Well,
what the Spire should
People
have
don't
been.
like the Spire. They don't like the Spire.
Well, the Spire was an odd thing. I don't know who had the vote on that. They were like, for the millennium, we're going to put in a giant spike in 2003. Whatever it was, wasn't it? In an area notorious for people who hate spikes.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I think it's a good central space to say I'll meet you at the Spire.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like what the East
When's the last time you met someone at the Spire?
Huh?
When's the last time you met someone
Well,
at the
I
Spire?
can't go anywhere at the
Yeah,
Spire.
no,
You can't get
did
out.
you ever meet someone at the Spire?
Oh, all the time.
Did you?
Probably
Probably,
not.
yeah.
No,
Easton's
probably
Clock is
meet
the
them in
thing.
the pub.
The pub, yeah. Oh, it was St. Patrick's Day recently. We forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
Did you enjoy it? Did you do anything?
I went for a walk up
Beautiful.
to a castle.
Was there any shenanigans in the area, or like
No,
not shenanigans,
there really
in
wasn't.
a positive
Like,
way?
yeah, but there's nobody really out doing anything, you know.
So often people dressed up walking around, kids and stuff. There was a little, people had like it wasn't even a parade, but we're in the garden, there was all this beeping you could hear in the area. Like, I was like, who was beeping their heads off? It was like, obviously they're just messing around, having a laugh. And then they were obviously driving around, and they came down this road and went by, and it was like maybe 7 or 8 cars in a row, and they'd stuck like shamrocks all over it, and they had like little tricolours hanging out the windows. And there was just people driving along going, beep, 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 yeah, beep, beep, beep. It was a real Italian 90 kind of vibe off it, you know.
Yeah.
It was good to see. It was fun.
I mean, it was fun. We actually went to McDonald's. That's what we did. I got me Shamrock Shake
I forgot to get one in.
and then spent the night drinking Aperol spritzers.
Oh,
Yeah,
get you.
because it was a nice day. It was a scorcher.
It was a beautiful. I thought that
So I
was
sat out in my nice furniture that I just
you
built.
just built. Did it stand? Did it stay?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
It was very sturdy.
Very sturdy, strong,
And
sticks.
sat outside drinking Aperol spritzers, man. Just saying, Happy Paddy's Day, guys. I had me shamrock and me flag.
Oh, you did a little
painting on my
paintings?
face.
That's nice. You did a bit. I thought it was funny that it was the most beautiful day of the year when every time they have a parade, it's like it's freezing and there's like hailstones and stuff. It's like
Torrential,
miserable.
really horrible weather.
There's all these people like, and now from Delaware,
Braving the elements
all these
to
like
watch people.
cheerleaders in their bare legs and stuff, and they're like, we've come to Ireland. It's like cutting Arctic wind and like hailstones and stuff like that. Yeah, and some kids like dum dum, brr, 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 brr. That's all they have. Loads of marching bands, and then some like puppets on sticks.
What's
and
the
stuff.
theme
isn't
of the year this year? It'd be something you'd never heard of before. Some weird book.
The funniest thing I ever saw.
Big spiders
Big
coming down.
yeah, it's like
just-
that was the one they had one year, and they were trying to cheer people up, and it was during it was like 2010 or 2011 or something. It was like there were all the recession misery, and everyone just couldn't stop talking about it. And I think they had Roddy Doyle come up with like the plot of the parade, and he obviously had a story that was going to end, but the story was about 2 little kids whose parents were struck by the black dog of depression. And the kids were trying to chase the black dog of depression away. So like the story was like at the end I think it was supposed to be hopeful, but until the end it was pretty depressing.
Yeah.
So the whole parade, I remember watching the telly, it was just like
you never stay till the end of the parade
Yeah, exactly.
to find out what happened.
but literally your man, so on RT I think the guy on RT said the black dog of depression about like 500 times during the parade, and every float was about depression. And I was like this isn't helping, guys.
Yeah.
This is not lifting depression, this is inducing it, if anything.
Excuse me.
And our final answer that's the right. Would you ever take part in a parade? Were you ever in a St. Patrick's Day
No, I
parade?
wasn't actually. No. I used to be in a thing called the Boys Brigade,
Oh,
and we used to have to march
militant
through town.
paramilitary organization.
We used to have to march through town, like, and through all the bad
Yeah,
areas of
it's
town, and
rough.
around. Some of them were around Patrick's Day.
Did you wear
Patrick's
little
Cathedral.
uniforms?
Yeah, we had our uniforms on, our little caps, Like you did look ridiculous. And you had to march through town while the people just shouting at you going, stay here! Look at this, stay here! That's like, it's all stuff looking at me.
It's hard. Because that's the thing. I was in one Patrick's Day parade in Kildare, a local thing, when I was little. Little enough. It was friends of the family. I was kind of friends with their little sons.
Did you have your little skirt on? No. And throwing up your batons?
No, but not much better, because their dad was doing the thing at the front. It was just a local village parade, but it was the big flag. You know the thing at the front where two guys hold up poles and it says whatever the thing is, the groups. And none of that, so we could go along with him. So I don't know how old we were. Under 10, but not much younger, and it was me and then the other guys, and they were a couple of years younger than me, but we were mad into the Ninja Turtles at that time. So we were going to dress up as Ninja Turtles, but kind of did it in kind of an 80s Irish way, so kind of crappily. So we had these weird official plastic shell things that you had on the front and back tied, and then the little weapons, and then wore green cords or a green t-shirt or something and tried to tie rags. And we're just walking along, and I'll never forget it, walking along, just mad thinking you're being great, you're real innocent and nice, and you're and walking along, and then we were walking along by a certain part of the crowd, and then some older boys, I just remember someone shouting out of the crowd, just going, Teenage Mutant Ninja Dickheads. And just,
oh, that's good.
And then the other kid was like, what did they say? He turned into the crowd. I was like, nothing, just keep walking. Yeah, it was those moments.
Were you Raphael?
I think so.
Yeah,
of course. You're going to be Raphael.
Yeah, he was the rebel.
But maybe you're a bit too old to do something, but you're still innocent, so you're doing it, and then someone just says something and it really cuts you down.
Cuts you deep.
Doesn't it? It cuts you deep, and you go, oh, I guess I'm a wally. You just sort of go through.
You go home and you burn your shell.
You just do.
No, never again.
You don't.
I'm never dressing up as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles again. Turtles again.
I'm 15. I gotta say. No, but it's funny you do that. You don't tell people to F off. You go, oh, I guess I must be wrong. It's your innocence is stolen. But I guess sometimes we all have to grow up eventually.
True.
It was my style.
Which is a shame.
It is a shame, but it's a good lesson to end on. So that's our lesson for the day.
Grow up.
You gotta grow up.
Yes. grow up.
Yeah. Stop talking about stupid stuff. Get on with your life. Alright, well that's it. I'll see you next week, Graeme.
Yeah.
Bye.
For more stuff.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
The Graeme and Joe Show. 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 The Graeme and Joe Show.
See you later, guys. Tune in next week. It's been great. It's been beautiful.
Every man for himself.
Every man for himself. Adieu.
Bye-bye. The Graeme and Joe Show.
That's good. That's probably a good